What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another live stream. Hope you guys are doing well. So today we're gonna cover all about the markets. I'm gonna give you basically all my current trade plan, both short-term and medium to long-term. So we're going to cover, of course, Bitcoin, Ethereum, the overall market, but also I have prepared a lot of the altcoins that I'm currently looking at, both from the ones that were doing strong for the past few months that are already on a current dip that I'm looking to pick up. And also I will be covering a bunch of altcoins that I think I'm looking to potentially seeing a downturn very soon that I'm looking to short, the ones that are overvalued or have a significant headwind coming up. So that's the agenda for today. Welcome everyone for joining, and I see a bunch of people in the chats. Great. If you have any questions about anything at all, please leave them down in the comments in the chats, and I will answer all of them in the Q&A at the very end. Okay, so let's get started. If you're new here to the channel, my name is Virtual Bacon. I'm a crypto angel investor for the past 5 years, and I have invested in over 100 startups. On this channel, I share my views on all the market trends, investment strategy, and latest market analysis on the trades I'm taking. Okay, so I see your questions, but I will answer all of them in the end. And let's just go ahead and get started. So let me bring up the charts here. Okay, so quick methodology for coins that I'm buying. I'm looking to find coins that have gained lots of hype in the past 2 to 3 months, but have died down this month. So I'm also looking for coins that have significantly retraced in price, but haven't broken a new low. Okay, so before getting into that, let's quickly look at Bitcoin and Ethereum. So number one, we have Bitcoin. Bitcoin's price, coming from the FOMC meeting, there was a bit of a hawkish turn, and I have covered this on the last live stream more in depth. But essentially, I'm in a short-term short position because I see Bitcoin's current downtrend to continue for the short term. So here you see, where's my brush? Here. So you see how Bitcoin has made a lower high, lower low, another lower low, and now a new lower high. So a bit more clearly there, we have lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. So now the next obvious trend continuation is for Bitcoin's price to come down and revisit at least this previous lower low to see if it holds. And conveniently, this level is also dating back to this last crash in June. I think this was also coming from the new Binance FUD. I think this was when Binance US was under pressure, and the bounce that we had right after was the BlackRock ETF news. And you see here, this level was also significant because it dates back to the February top and also the August 2022 top. So this level is very significant, and I would expect Bitcoin to at least come down to revisit this level and see and test a bit of liquidity here. So that's immediate short term for Bitcoin. Now, medium to long term, I don't think Bitcoin will see a new low. So I see some people asking, okay, should Bitcoin revisit 20K and drop below 20K again? I think that's very unlikely. So I have covered this in our last live stream as well. But basically, my accumulation target for medium to long term is within this range, between 21K to 25K. Now you're going to say that's a big range. What's the exact bottom? I don't think it really matters, because if we draw out just a bit of measurement on the price downturn here. So if you look at the price range, assuming 25K at least gets tapped once more, from 25K to the middle of this range, 23K, that's only 8% difference. At the very bottom, 8% difference really is not worth chasing. So essentially, even though I'm in a short-term short, looking to ride one more downturn potentially for a couple weeks to a month, I think 23K, 24K is going to be a really good buying opportunity for medium to long term. And that's why I'm not looking to hold this short very long. I think visit 25K, 24, 23, and for sure I'm going to close it. Now, in terms of long-term buying target, so I'm going to zoom out to weekly here. You see there's even a tighter range here on the weekly candles. So counting these candle closes only, we have essentially between 21.7 and 24.2. So I would say once Bitcoin gets into this range, there will be a lot of support coming in from the long term. And you see this also dates back to this candle right there. So this is going to be my buying zone. So I foresee, Bitcoin price, even if it comes down to this range, I think it's going to be kind of consolidation before just bouncing. And that's why I'm aiming to buy, if given the chance, I'm aiming to buy more Bitcoin between 21.7 and 24.3 with an average entry of, let's say, 23K. And that's basically it. I think now is the time to buy if you're looking for medium to long term. All the headwinds are pretty much behind us. We're looking at the Bitcoin halving event coming in April, spot ETF from BlackRock being approved most likely in March. And there could be one more downturn coming from, SEC versus Binance, but a lot of people are trying to price that in already. So all in all, maybe another 6 months where we have one more downturn, a little bit of sideways, but I don't see that bringing Bitcoin down below 20K again. So no, I don't think 20K and below 20K is likely. And I think worst case scenario, this wick here that we had when Binance first got attacked, I think this is the absolute bottom we'll see. So for me, 20K, this wick is going to be a bottom. If we get another wick, I would hope that it looks something like this, where it briefly touches 20K, but just quickly bounces and doesn't make a new low. Okay, so that's my current view on Bitcoin. Moving on to Ethereum. So Ethereum is looking a little bit weaker than Bitcoin. Notice how on Ethereum's chart, this wick during the Binance FUD is actually being tested already. So you see on Ethereum's current price, it's already sitting at this support right here, which is also this consolidation range that we had for Ethereum. This consolidation range is very similar to the 22 to 24K range for Bitcoin. So you see how Ethereum is already testing this previous range. So that's why I think Ethereum is a little bit more likely to test this wick. So that's why I will place Ethereum's more possible target to be something like 1400, 1380 to be exact, at the bottom of this wick. Now, do I think this will likely break? I also don't think so. I think this is still going to be bottom line for me. However, because Ethereum is showing a bit of weakness against Bitcoin right now, I would expect 14K to at least be tapped. And let's see how it goes. All in all, because I'm looking at this short-term Bitcoin downturn, Ethereum is very likely to follow that as well. So I do see Ethereum to potentially retest 1400 again. Now, medium to long term, I also think it's not worth chasing much lower levels for medium to long term accumulation. Because, if you're looking to sell all your Ethereum right now and then potentially buy back at 1400, 1380, that's not going to be worth that much because, again, price difference from here to there is only about 10%. So 10% margin, chasing this amount and risking potentially missing the much bigger, the next wave is honestly not that worth it. So unless you're betting with me on this short-term trade, I think medium to long-term, 13 to 1400, even 1500 is going to be really good accumulation targets. So long-term, I think great spot to be buying. And even if we have another 10% down, still great spot to be buying. And also, I don't see Ethereum making a brand new low to retest, $1,000, $1,100. I think those levels are most likely the bottoms that we won't see again. So that's my outlook on Ethereum. And just very quickly on Bitcoin dominance here. So way back in, I think in July, when XRP had their lawsuit win against the SEC, a lot of people were calling for Altseason and for Bitcoin dominance to drop very low. But I was, warning people against it because Bitcoin dominance has made a new uptrend and actually broke out of this sideways range that we had for 2.5 years. So that's why I said, okay, if Bitcoin dominance can actually drop down below 47.5% and start to get back into this range, that's going to be much more convincing Altseason. But before that happens, we could easily see Bitcoin dominance make a new uptick. And that's what we're seeing now. So since the FOMC meeting, since Bitcoin has had a recovery, but altcoins have been bleeding, Bitcoin dominance has been going up again, which is showing that money is flowing back into Bitcoin, back into Ethereum, but altcoins are losing strength. So this is honestly a little bit worrying sign for altcoin market overall, because again, Bitcoin dominance is showing uptrend. So here we had one higher high, we had this previous higher low here, and now we had a new higher low at 48.8%. Now the question is, will Bitcoin dominance continue to rise? And if it does, and if it breaks above this previous higher high at 51.7%, then that means, well, altcoins are going to bleed a lot more and money is all going to come back to Bitcoin. And Bitcoin, it might hold at the same level, but altcoins could drop. Or another scenario could be that Bitcoin is going up faster than altcoins. So I think it's looking more and more likely for this scenario to happen. And that's why, all in all, be careful for altcoins unless you really know which altcoins are gaining strength. And in the, let's say, 1 to 3 months period, if there are significant catalyst events coming up, then that could be good for specific altcoins. Otherwise, if you're just looking at overall altcoin market and you're just randomly picking top altcoins, especially the ones that have lost strength in the last bull market, I would say pay attention to the Bitcoin dominance chart very closely, because if this scenario happens, once Bitcoin dominance breaks above 51.7%, the large altcoins are going to bleed a lot more against Bitcoin. So that's outlook on Bitcoin dominance. Okay, next up, moving into the altcoin territory. So again, let me just reiterate my methodology for picking these altcoins. I'm looking to find coins that have gained lots of hype in the past 2 to 3 months, but they have died down this month. However, they have not dropped below their crucial supports, which means it still counts as a correction. And also I'm looking for altcoins that have significant catalyst events coming up in 1 to 3 months period, so we don't run the risk of Bitcoin dominance bringing down the overall altcoin market, because these are relatively shorter positions that we know when the events are coming up. So let me get into the list. Number 1, I have DYDX. So DYDX I have already covered in our DYDX I have already covered in our last altcoin video for September. So basically, the catalyst event for DYDX is DYDX V4. This is not only an upgrade to the decentralized exchange, but also a major tokenomics upgrade. Essentially, DYDX will finally start sharing revenue with the token holders. So if you just stake DYDX, they will have their own chain, and all of the exchange revenue will go to the chain and the token holders. This is very big because this is by far the biggest problem that have plagued the DYDX tokenomics. However, DYDX token, even though this news is already out, the upgrade hasn't been completed yet, and not a lot of people know that this revenue sharing is going to be turned on. So that's why you see price is still sitting pretty much at the all-time low floor here. So a little bit more in depth here, DYDX chart, You see, after this just huge downturn coming from the bull market, we had one whole year and a half of consolidation now. And you see the support and resistance levels are very clear. So the support we have is at $1.50. So this is a very clear stop loss. So we can place our stop loss right at $1.40, which is not that far away from current price at $1.90. So that's our limited risk. And the immediate short-term resistance level is at $2.60. So this is the previous 3 tests that DYDX failed to break above. So if we break above $2.60, that's going to start a major uptrend. And I think we have a solid chance to do that coming from this catalyst event. Then medium-term targets I have at $4.40 to $7. That's a pretty big range, but I think, you know, the liquidity up here is, this is the first liquidity range. Between $2.60 and $4.40, there's not any price action. So you see there's just only this 1 week, 1 to 2 week period where price has made a significant drop. So I think once price actually breaks above $2.60, $4.40 is going to be quite an easy target to hit. So that's DYDX. That's the first altcoin that we're looking at. Overall, still quite a good spot to pick it up, and I have already entered a DYDX long at $1.90, stop loss $1.40, first resistance level to watch $2.60, targeting $4.40 if 260 breaks. And really quick, if you want to follow all my trades, you can do so on Fairdesk. I have just dropped a new Fairdesk copy trading tutorial video on our channel this morning. So it's this one right here. So you can go ahead and watch this video to see how you can copy all my trades. And also we have a really great deal with Fairdesk. You can get VIP level 5, which is going to give you the cheapest trading fees for a new account on any exchange you can find, and also a huge deposit bonus depending on your trading volume. And you can find all my trades that you can directly copy by using Fairdesk, but you can also have your own trades through their futures market. So for some of the larger altcoins I will mention, and also Bitcoin, Ethereum, you can directly copy my trades. But for others like DYDX and some of the smaller altcoins, you can just place your trades directly. But also, if you want to see all of our trade setups, make sure to join our Discord with the link in the description, discord.gg/virtualbacon. We're going to open that up again very soon. And I'm going to start posting basically all of the chart analysis that we have made today, but over the next week. So you'll get the charts first before we even do these live streams. Okay, moving on, let's go to the next altcoin that I'm looking at, and that is TOMI. So TOMI is a brand new altcoin that I have just stumbled upon for the past couple months. So a couple of things to note about this coin. Number one, this is a very new coin that just dropped in beginning of 2023. However, it has had very big list of exchanges that already support it. And notice how price has had a very significant uptrend since January, right? So going from 24 cents all the way up to $5.60. So this fits the number one methodology for us, which is to find coins that have had significant uptrends in the first half of the year, but has since had a retracement, but not a downtrend turn. So that's what you can see on this new bounce here. So let me dive into the charts a little bit more in depth. Here you see, honestly, TOMI has one of the cleanest charts here. So you see how price again has made just continued higher highs and higher lows, right? Higher high, higher low. This higher high, higher low, higher high. And now because this daily uptrend has been broken, we have had kind of this corrective wave here, right? Where we had the lower highs, the lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower low, lower high. But now, again, we're starting to make higher highs and higher lows. So you see, this is a higher high, higher low, which is above the previous high and low, right? Here and here. And also, again, new higher high, new higher low, new higher high, and now we're looking to see if this level, this next bounce holds above this $2.80, $2.90 level. So if this holds, again, the uptrend will continue. So overall, this is one of the cleanest charts I've seen. Just 6-month uptrend, about a 2-month downtrend correction, and now the new uptrend is starting. So very healthy chart. And this also gives us very clear entry and stop loss levels. So if we enter at $3.30 here, our stop loss is right below $2.80, which was the previous higher low here. So this is the requirement for the uptrend to continue. Now, in terms of what TomiNet actually is, so Tomi is building basically a decentralized internet. So I have a full video going into this whole niche. Essentially, it's a brand new use case that's different from Ethereum and all of the other DeFi use cases. So it's not financial. It's tackling things like domain names, browser, privacy. So running kind of this decentralized internet. Now, this narrative is actually quite interesting, and I think it's sitting outside of the Ethereum ecosystem, and it's getting a lot of traction. So one of the clearest examples recently is Altcoin. So Altcoin has just, it's ranked at number 11 right now, but it broke into the top 10, I think just 2 weeks ago. So this is the official, unofficial coin launched by Telegram, and basically they're building the same thing. They're building this decentralized internet, decentralized open internet created by the community, designed by Telegram for everyone, right? So again, they have their own browser, they have their proxy, they have their Explorer, they have privacy features, and all within this like easy to onboard kind of front end that is Telegram. So within the exact same narrative is Tomi. So all of the same features Tomi has, and basically it's riding the same wave. So that's brief explainer of what Tomi is. And also last bit of catalyst event, Tomi has this other project that's a spin out, taking some of the privacy features from them. And that is called the Data Ownership Protocol, or DOP. So this project is a, basically you can think of it like Tornado Cash, where more advanced Tornado Cash. So it's not a mixer, but instead it's a decentralized application that you can just directly deposit any Ethereum tokens on top of, and then your transaction essentially just gets completely anonymized using ZK rollups, using this off-chain protocol. And this way, you know, if you're looking for, let's say, transferring between your different wallets, but you don't want to have people actively track all your different moves, and if you're a whale wallet, you know, you don't want people to track, okay, like, you know, you're owning a large portion of this token, or you have bought up this token and people are just quickly buying right after you. So this is the kind of use case that DOP supports. And reason we mentioned this is because this is a spin out from Tomi, and they passed this proposal back in August, and essentially Tomi will DOP will have their own token, and this is, I think, will be launching in early 2024. And get this, 50% of the staking rewards generated by the DOP protocol will be used to buy back and burn Tomi tokens. So this is really big. Essentially, this new token will be all rewarded to Tomi token holders, and revenue sharing will directly go back to Tomi itself. So this is really great tokenomics that's coming up to Tomi, and I don't think many people know about this yet because this is a very new proposal that just passed last month. So coming from now until end of the year, there's going to be a lot more coverage on this. So that's why this really counts as a catalyst event that could continue to drive up Tomi's demand for the next couple months. So all in all, really fitting altcoin for our methodology. So that's why, you know, Tomi is one of the altcoins that I'm looking to pick up. Okay, next up is going to be Rollbit. So you guys are definitely familiar with Rollbit. This is the casino coin that we have covered in our hidden gem portfolio video. We have covered it at 2 cents way back in, I think, late July, early August. But, this has had just a huge run up. So very luckily, we covered it right here at 2 cents, and it had a huge run up all the way to 20 cents. Now, I have completely refrained from talking about this coin for the past 2 months. I only covered it when, we had the 2 cent entry, because this hype was just way too dramatic and way too quick. So during this huge price run up, I think the risks were quite high to get into this coin. However, now that they have had, the price coming down pretty significantly here. So here is the price chart for Rollbit. So you see we have, after this huge run up, and the reason why this chart only starts here is because this is when they migrated to Ethereum. So in our hidden gem portfolio video, we mentioned that Rollbit used to live only on Solana, which significantly hurt their traction. But since they have migrated to Ethereum, this chart has just been up only because it became way more accessible. So now that Rollbit is starting to come down in price, there's kind of 3 levels that I'm watching here. So the immediate short-term support level has been broken. So this is right at, I would say 11.9 cents, which is this high here, top of this consolidation range, as well as this previous dip here. So you see this has been broken. So the next 2 support levels that I'm watching, first one right at 9.5 cents, and the next one is pretty much the bottom line support for me, and that's at 6.4 cents. So I think we are likely to see a little bit more dip on Rollbit, coming down just below 10 cents. And once we get to that range, I think anything between 6 cents to 9 cents, that's going to be a buy for me. Because there's going to be a lot of support here coming from this huge consolidation period. And on top of that, because we have this very clear stop loss right below, let's say 6 cents. So if I place a stop loss right at 5.5 cents, that's going to be a very clear stop loss. Because if that gets broken, this whole range is going to be looking, there's not much consolidation within this range. So if 5.5 cents gets broken, we're likely to go all the way down to 3 cents. So that's why a stop loss can be really easily placed right here. And that gives us this price range to be really good entry target. So is Rollbit overvalued? I don't think so anymore. I think if it gets into this range, that's going to be pretty fair valuation levels, and also the price target is pretty fair given this consolidation range and the stop loss we have. Now, Rollbit has had pretty significant, not catalyst events, but upgrades for the past 2 months. So the number one issue has been fixed, which is the liquidity issue coming from Solana. They have completely migrated to Ethereum. But on top of that, notice how there really isn't any exchange listings outside of decentralized exchanges yet. So I think we could start to see that once Rollbit bottoms out. So maybe they just haven't, talked to the centralized exchanges. I don't know what the situation there is, but this is one of the most hyped up coins. So I would expect a lot more centralized exchange listing to come up very soon. On top of that, Rollbit has rolled out their own dashboard also. So this directly gives us the casino revenue, their sportsbook revenue, their futures exchange revenue. And you see this is giving us about $800K to $1 million per day revenue coming from the entire platform. Now, in our last video, in the Hidden Gem Portfolio video, I looked at their revenue, and the number I came up to was only about, I think 60K per day, which 60 times 364. Yeah, so 60K per day or $22 million per year or so. Now, that number, I dove a little bit deeper, and that number actually was not the whole picture, because the 60K was only coming from their, I think, sportsbook. So since they had their casino revenue also distributed through this buyback and burn feature now, and also they have started to distribute their crypto futures revenue through buyback and burn, these revenue numbers actually became way larger. So that's why I don't think Rollbit is overvalued anymore. I think it's going to be fairly valued if we can come down to 6 cents to 9 cents level. So within that range, I think that's a buy for me. Okay, so that's Rollbit. Just a couple more altcoins that you guys are probably already familiar with. Optimism is going to be the next one. So I have covered Optimism in our August video, in September video, and now I'm going to cover it again because this is one of the few coins that I think people are clearly sleeping on. So Optimism is the main coin behind the OP stack, behind actually the base layer 2. So most of the base speculation at the end of the day will come back to Optimism because they are the main technology provider for base for the layer 2 network. And Optimism's superchain is actually onboarding the biggest amount of new layer 2s. So we have OP BNB. Basically, Binance is launching their own layer 2 using Optimism. We have Celo that's migrating to Optimism as a layer 2. We have Synthetics. We have Synapse Chain that's also built on Optimism. We have at least a Manta network also. There's a whole bunch of them. I think there's up to 10 major projects that's all using the OP stack. And these, at the end of the day, will all feed into the Optimism ecosystem. On top of this, we also have the EIP 4844 upgrade coming to Ethereum by the end of the year. And this is a not only an Ethereum upgrade, but also this will benefit layer 2s the most because it will reduce layer 2 fees by 10 to 100x. And the biggest beneficiary for EIP 4844 is looking to be OP, because OP is the number one coin that people are associating with the EIP 4844 narrative. So if you just look up on Twitter, EIP 4844 narrative coins, OP is going to be the number one coin on there. So that's why I'm still heavily accumulating Optimism and looking at OP's price. Pretty clear stop loss level and accumulation levels here. So we have basically these all-time, not all-time lows, but bear market lows right at $1.05. So I'm accumulating basically right now. There isn't like any lower term price target. So anything between $1.30 to $1.10, I think that's going to be a buy for me, and stop loss right below $1.05. So let's say I right at $1. So this huge wick here, this is also during the Binance FUD. So this was the biggest FUD that we had in the past year, and assuming OP is going to make a new uptrend, I don't think this level should be broken. So that's pretty clear accumulating period for me right now. Okay, OP, that's that. Yeah, and one last coin that I want to mention that I am buying is OX, Open Exchange Token. So this is I don't think I've covered this coin before, but essentially this is a brand new exchange, and this exchange is launched by the 3AC founders, Suju and Kyle Davis. Honestly, I'm not so bullish on the exchange itself to be anything super legitimate, becoming a large contender as a crypto exchange. However, these guys definitely know how to pump a token. And pump they have. So if you look at OX's price, and if you have been active on Twitter for beginning of the year, this coin has had a pretty significant pump. So coming from May this is when they launched this coin. And this coin was not new. So this coin is actually a migration from CoinFlex, the exchange partner that they had before. So CoinFlex effectively joined forces with 3AC founders, and they made this open exchange. And you see, since this coin launched, since the migration from Flex token, it went up a whole 7x. And now, since this has topped out, I have really refrained from talking about it because, you know, this hype period was way too strong. And now this is coming back down. So already down 73% from the all-time high. And in terms of support levels, we have very clear support right here. So this is right at 2 cents. This is essentially a very bottom line support that we have, again, because if 2 cents gets broken, there's not much liquidity until we get to 1.1 cent, which means if you want to enter right now, you can basically enter and have a very strict stop loss right at, let's say, 1.8 cent, which is only about 10% away. However, what I'm hoping, because this coin is so heavily manipulated by the 3AC founders, I'm hoping for price to come a little bit lower to actually dip within this range, but having a very quick wick. So I am watching this coin very closely for, let's say, next 2 to 3 weeks. If price breaks below 2 cents, the liquidity is going to have a crunch, and a lot of people are gonna, you know, run into some serious issues here with their positions. And that's why I'm looking to, you know, pick up one of these, like, what do you call it? Capitulation candles, let's say, where price makes a big wick into this range, and I'm going to look to pick up during this wick. Exact price target, it's going to be hard to say. So that could be looking at, you know, 1.6 cents, 1.5 cents, 1.8. I'm not sure, but I'm looking to buy at a very accelerated price downturn that's coming, that will look like a capitulation. Yeah, so that's basically my trade plan for OX. This coin is heavily manipulated. So I think once this capitulation candle gets printed, they're gonna start to print a new uptrend. I think that's quite likely. So if you are a very savvy decentralized exchange trader, I will actually look up the liquidity book for this on Uniswap. So if you just go to pools and go to Uniswap Analytics, and here, let's copy this pool info, and I'll just show you what I mean really quickly here. So pools, Uniswap, pool token. Is it gonna pop up? Yeah, here. So this is the main decentralized exchange pool for this OX token. Now notice how they're provisioning these liquidity. Look at this. So essentially, the reason why I say this is super heavily manipulated is because on Uniswap v3, you can put a very tight liquidity range, essentially placing a buy wall on the price, where you know exactly where the OPNX founders are putting their liquidity. So essentially, they're creating a wall of liquidity where price cannot dip below. And once they pull this, they'll move this to much lower, and essentially that becomes the price level that they're going to support. So you see how we are already visiting, sitting right at this wall level. So this is why I say this OX price is heavily manipulated. So make sure to follow this, liquidity book, and basically that is right at 2 cents. So if the founders, right, they move this liquidity book to a bit lower, let's say over here, that's essentially going to instantly cause one of these capitulation candles to come up. So that's kind of what I'm hoping if this happens. So, and this is not only a a bad thing when causing one of these capitulations, but it's also a really good thing on the next uptrend, because essentially this is what they did during these uptrends, right? You see how these price candles here, notice how these candles essentially were all flat, right? They stopped right at 2.7 cents here. So this is caused directly by the liquidity book here being super tight and basically forming a price floor. So essentially these guys are doing market making on Uniswap v3. So I'm definitely going to be watching this liquidity book here, and I'll update you guys on our Discord if this capitulation event happens, what the potential price target will be. Okay, so that is the altcoin that I want to mention. Yeah, so that's basically all the altcoins that I wanted to cover for today. It's already getting quite long, so we'll save the short positions for next week. And yeah, those are all the coins I wanted to cover. Okay, let's go into Q&As and questions and answers. If you guys have any questions, I'll go through the chats right now and let's bring it up. Okay. Yannick asks how low Bitcoin can go before the halving. I don't think it'll go much lower. So just like our analysis from earlier, I think 10, maybe 15% lower from here is the maximum that I'm looking at. So 23K average, I think that's going to be very, very cheap already for me. I don't think it'll go much lower than that. What do you think about DESO? Any potential for the next bull run? Yes, absolutely. So I've been holding DESO since the beginning of the year. In my portfolio, it's definitely a long-term hold for me. Just go on their social media, go on their Diamond app, go on their Twitter. They have constant updates. It's huge updates that they're delivering all the time. So very bullish on DESO long-term. Short-term, the hype hasn't caught on yet. I think the signs are there because if you have been following Twitter, if you have been following Friendtech, how Friendtech has completely blew up, and so many people are spinning up these copycats of creator tokens, you know, tokenizing different people's opinions and their social media profiles. Well, this idea is not original. It is actually copied from BigCloud. And guess what? BigCloud is DESO. BigCloud is the project that actually rebranded to DESO to create this infrastructure layer that used to power the BigCloud application. So they made their whole blockchain that's open for everyone to build these social media, social token applications on. So if you're bullish on Friendtech, you should be more bullish on the infrastructure that powers that, and that is DESO. And the DESO founder and the DESO team actually invented this model of tokenizing Twitter accounts and making these tokens tradable and speculative. So I think the signs are there. So definitely bullish on DESO. I think just most people still don't know about this project yet. Let's see. Dun. What are my thoughts on LIDO if ETH continues downside? LIDO pretty much just follows ETH because the main narrative for LIDO is that it is the #1 liquid staking protocol for Ethereum, which means its total value locked, its adoption follows two things, right? Number one is the price of Ethereum. So if Ethereum goes up, the amount of LIDO ST also goes up in price, right? Even if they don't get any more adoption. So that will mean that LIDO looks more appealing. So when Ethereum goes up, LIDO probably goes up. Ethereum goes down, LIDO goes down. But LIDO does have the advantage that the Ethereum staking rate is still relatively low. So if you're bullish on Ethereum staking like me, and you think more and more Ethereum will be staked, a larger percentage of the total supply will be staked, then a certain percentage of that will flow into LIDO because LIDO has a very big market dominance. So yeah, my thoughts on LIDO is that it is still bullish. Probably a bit more long-term looking because LIDO is already a really big coin. And yeah, it's not a new narrative anymore. Let's see. Had anyone start to buy alts on spot for the next bull market? So that will really depend which alts that you're buying. So if you're buying like the older coins, like, you know, Matic, BNB, Solana, Polkadot, you know, Cosmos, whatever, Chainlink, those coins, you really have to know what you're doing. You really have to be very exact on, you know, buying at the floor and making sure that the tokenomics are good and they are going to remain active for the next bull run. So those are a little bit harder to say. I have covered Solana. I have covered actually Matic in a full video. I will be covering BNB quite soon. I have already covered XRP. So case by case scenario. Now, if you're looking to buy alts for medium term, let's say 2 to 3 months, the ones with catalyst events, I think those are a bit more attractive right now. Rweave I will be covering in a more in-depth video about all of these like decentralized storage, decentralized web, decentralized internet type of coins. What is your prediction for Altseason going to start? I don't think I need to predict anything, so it is not starting yet. So just look at Bitcoin dominance, right? Go back to our chart analysis for Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance is right now looking like a uptrend. So we have made a higher high and then another higher low. So this cannot continue if we want an Altseason. What we need to see is for Bitcoin dominance is for this high, first of all, to not make a new high. So Bitcoin dominance needs to revert before hitting 51.9%. So this is the number one thing. And then number two, it also needs to break below this previous higher low at 48.8. So that just the most important chart to watch for Altseason is Bitcoin dominance. So if Bitcoin dominance makes a lower high and then lower low, so once it gets into right here, I would say, okay, Altseason likely to start if Bitcoin dominance can look like this, because it made a lower high and lower low, which means it becomes a downtrend. Now, if that doesn't happen, I wouldn't say Altseason is in anytime soon. And especially if Bitcoin dominance breaks above 51.8, then the narrative, the argument for Altseason is going to be even weaker. So yeah, pretty direct there. Just watch Bitcoin dominance. Chainlink, I will make a detailed video, actually, a whole price prediction, you know, entry, long-term plan target for Chainlink. So look out for that. Let's see. A couple more. Yeah, I'm just getting through the chat, so please bear with me here. Hushao, wow, he is really, really mad that I'm not covering his PZP shitcoin. So whenever I see one of these, like, you know, like someone that just like spams one coin and is really pissed that I don't talk about it, I know it's a paid shill. So yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I see a bunch of like newer coins mentioned, like GFAL, whatever. You know, I'm not going to get into these because if I don't recognize the ticker, I really need to do the research first before mentioning it, because I don't want to lead people to buy up some scam. So I see all the chat, but I will only mention coins that I have at least heard of. And yeah. Okay. Yeah, gaming coins. I already have actually two videos planned for gaming coins. One for gaming infrastructure coins, another for real crypto games. I can give you some names. So basically, I think Gala, a lot of FUD coming for Gala, but the tokenomics for Gala is looking way stronger now than 2021, 2022 bull market, because majority of the inflation has already come to market. Couple more interesting coins. So MetaFab has basically it's NFT worlds. I think that project, they're doing a bunch of like rework to the tokenomics, to their ecosystem. That's pretty interesting. Another one that I have already mentioned before, let me just give you this project. Another one that I have mentioned very briefly before is called Ready Games. So I would definitely follow this project for crypto gaming. This one is not live yet, but I know they're going to be launching their token sometime, this year, next year. But basically, this is one of the most adopted gaming infrastructure projects in the entire industry. So essentially, like if you're looking at crypto gaming mobile games, most of them are being onboarded through Ready Games. So these guys are onboarding real Web2 games that have actually hundreds of thousands of players concurrent monthly active through Ready Games. And also, this is not proprietary technology. They're not launching, their own layer 1 blockchain or, publisher model. It's a very open model. So basically, they onboard you through a technology stack that you can use. I think they are already integrated with Polygon. So Polygon's mobile gaming stack is directly onboarded through Ready Games. And also, if you want to, work with Ethereum, if you want to work with other EVM blockchains, they are in touch with most of them. So it's completely open ecosystem. And get this, the strongest part of this is that they have their own token, and this token will serve as the utility token for all the games they onboard. So it's not just like, some governance token, etc. Basically, every single game that they onboard, essentially within the games, it will use the Ready token. So for in-game purchases, for buyback and burn, for, microtransactions, for all, basically like in-game currency, it's all going to be Ready. I don't know how they managed to convince these Web2 games that are really established to do that. But very kudos to them. So this is one of the very few fundamentally strong gaming projects that I've been following. So Ready Games, definitely pay attention to this. That's one gem I can give you. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, ICP, that's not going to be a standalone video. That's going to be the decentralized internet video. But I will be covering a whole slew of coins that are in this same niche. Okay. AI coins, I think the hype is not over. So AI coins are still going to be popular. I think it will be one of the strongest narratives in the next bull run. Kaspa, so I have been following Kaspa and Kaspa's price, especially Kaspa is just one of the strongest coins in terms of price chart. However, I am not buying it yet because for that same reason, it's always at a super high value. It's always like the price is always looking like not a buying opportunity. So look at this chart. So for sure, it fits our narrative that it needs to be a very strong coin for the first half of the year, but Kaspa has not had the correction yet. So I don't think the buying opportunity is there yet. So I am following this coin. Once it comes really, it gives us one of these like strong dips, I'm going to be covering it more in depth. So I don't have it right now, but it is on my watch list. Okay, so that is it for today. I've covered, a lot of questions. I think really good questions that you guys have. Thank you guys for joining. And yeah, if you are interested in all of the altcoins that we have covered, and also Bitcoin, Ethereum, all the charts, make sure to join our Discord, discord.gg/virtualbacon, or just with the link in the description. On there, we have a basically VIP group that you can join for free by just signing up to one of our exchanges. And on there, you can see all of our price chart updates, all of my personal, trade plans and altcoin updates within the week before we even do these live streams. So make sure to check that out. Also follow me on Twitter, virtualbacon0x. I drop a lot more, in-depth crypto alpha whenever they come. And that's it. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you guys on the next live stream. Cheers. Bye-bye.